I have representing the government of Nana Dodankwe Kufuado, Saka Salia. He's here, Saka. I already see that he's written a lot of things in his notes. So, great defense and then communication this morning. Good morning to you, Saka.
Good morning.
Great. Were you at Asing North? You were not there?
I wasn't there.
You were not there. You were looking.
But I was following.
Yes. You were monitoring from Accra to make sure everything was right.
Exactly.
You didn't work well then?
Oh, I worked well.
Because
I worked well.
The candidate lost.
Well, I mean.
No, we haven't started the discussion. Hold your fire.
All right.
And then also, Edem Agbana is currently the parliamentary candidate for Ketu North. How are you, Edem Agbana?
I'm an Ovi, I'm a phone.
A phone.
I'm a dark boy.
All right. And then we have lawyer Kwame Jantwa. He usually will be the referee. So, lawyer Kwame Jantwa, good morning to you.
Marching.
Yeah.
What want to say?
Me hoye boko unswe.
Yeah,
So let's get all the issues going. We have an insight from the speaker. Came by Media General, met the group chief executive Beatrice Ajmain, as well as other officials, including the group chief operating officer, and it was quite an enlightening conversation. But he had some great observations to make, including what we're about to focus now.
A fresh MP, and I have to go and swear him in to start his work, in spite of the fact that the same thing I complain about is still happening. They are chasing after him and trying to prosecute him, even though we know that even in that respect that they are talking about, there are many more of us who have the same thing, but they are not being prosecuted. That is the country we are in, and we need to bring this out. Once you have selective justice, you never have peace. Once you have justice, there will definitely be peace, where everybody matters. And therefore, you work together. Why you say, I don't matter, then you too, you don't matter. And then that's a conflict situation. And so we need to look at this together. And I believe that after we sworn in a member, we still get our hang parliament 137, 137.
Well, so we're here to do the discussions and Saka. Yeah. It looks like the speaker is invariably saying the gentleman is being hounded. It's very selective, making him appear in court every day. And of course, it's the Attorney General, right? The Minister of Justice. At the end of the day, it's a political, judicial position. What do you say to that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to our cherished viewers. Good morning to the President, Nana Dodankwe Kufuado, and the Vice President, and all members of the MPP fraternity. Yeah, I listened to the speaker. I think that he's speaking his mind. He has the right to speak his mind. And as to whether his right is the right thing, is another thing. Just as he has his right, the court of law also has right to choose days for which cases will be heard. He is saying that it is discriminatory. But I, by what he is saying, have not understood him well. And I'm sure he's not saying that they are wrong. In trial, the court can decide any day, even including weekends, including Sundays and whatever. The court is normally open, except when they are in legal vacation. Even now, even when they are legal vacation, you can still go and file your cases and all that. So I don't get it, especially as he is the number 3 gentleman of the land. I'm sure people are saying, or he himself is saying that he is not number 3 now, that he can be equated to the president. So I don't get...
What are you trying to say, that he can be equated to the president?
That he's equal to the president.
Speaker of Parliament, who has enormous experience in the House and also as a legislature, he's even a lawyer himself. He can make this...
No, we are talking about the position, not his personal achievement. The position that the president...
What has the position got to do with what you're saying?
The president is the number 1 person in Ghana.
He hasn't said he's the president.
No, I saw somewhere he's saying that He is equal to the president.
No, he said yesterday he made that clarity that he never meant that. And he never said
He never
that.
meant that.
Yeah, he never said that.
Okay, so when he's speaking, he should speak with clarity. So, and in even this particular case, there is no clarity in what he's saying.
What do you mean by that?
There is discrimination in terms of the daily trial. First of all, I think that it is in the best interest of Gyakye Quayson that the trial is going to be done daily. Why am I saying so? We have seen situations where people say that justice delayed is justice denied. We have also seen a situation where cases of this nature, that is a parliamentary trial, have run the life of parliament, of a certain parliament. That
A former Yewasu West
Wogon, Amu and Rebecca Aduti. Their case, for instance, it traveled the whole year, the whole period of the parliament of, I think the first parliament or second parliament. And, history is there to guide us. And when you have a situation, you have to look back. Even at the Musekandi, he ran the course of parliament before he was incarcerated and eventually, had his death. And in this case, we have also had situations where the court want to cure a certain mischief. A mischief where people think that, I can go and contest. When I win, the court will take interminable number of months or even years. And by the time the ruling comes, I would have served my term.
So what does the court want to do here?
I'm saying that I am guessing. That
So you are
the
guessing?
court take into consideration. Yeah, the court take into consideration so many things. And to do daily trial or hearing is not uncommon. In the election petition, we've seen, because they want expeditious trial, they decided that, I don't know, the first one in 2013, it took us 8 good months. And because they have learned from the history, they decided that, no, you have to institute a certain rule so that within a certain period, it's done away with. And in this particular one, the court has a discretion to either do it daily, weekly, or monthly, or even every 2 weeks. The court can do any time, because if you look at the Constitution only says reasonable time, and that it should give reasonable time for the accused to have his defense. And the court is doing it on as a discretion, and in this particular one, let me re-emphasize.
You don't think the man is being hounded? He's just being frustrated.
Let me tell you, even before the elections.
You mean they are still not by election?
Before they are still not by election, he appealed to the court that the court should suspend the daily sitting until after the elections. And because the court is a court of law and then they understand everything, they granted him that. And now that he has become an MP elect, that is what I'm saying, that it is in his best interest that he sees the case is heard and, dispatch. Either, for him to get his fate. It will not be in the best interest of the people of Asin North for them to, for him to take so many months. Every day he's going and coming, and then the case is not ending. But when it is done expeditiously, and maybe he's exonerated, he can now focus on his parliamentary job. If he's incarcerated, then of course, we'll see what else that will be embarked on. But for him to say that we should dilly-dally, we should delay the matter, let him go and come maybe 2 months, one week, and all those things, I don't think that it will be in the best interest of the people of Asin North, even him, for the smooth operation of his parliamentary work. It will not be good for him, because psychologically, that would not be in the best interest. But let me also re-emphasize this point. I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, the court is against him and all manner of things. I think that he played the victim and won at Asinov. But I don't
And
think
how did that happen?
No, he played it because
didn't you monitor the election?
No, see,
on the day, and then activities prior to the day.
I'm saying.
So how did he play the victim?
He perpetrated wrong against the constitution and the people of Asinov.
Are you the one determining that, or the court has to determine?
I'm not talking about this criminal matter because that one is still in court. But I'm saying that he, by flouting the laws of this country, perpetrated that wrong by, saying that he has renounced his allegiance to Canada when indeed that wasn't the case.
Okay.
That, to me, that he perpetrated wrong, and therefore he should be the perpetrator and not to play victim. You see, but this play into the NDC and their propaganda and lies that when it was the Musa Kandi, that was even done by the NDC. It was the NDC orchestration that took Adamu Sekendi to court, and then he was incarcerated and died. And when the same people, somebody from their fold, committed same offense, now they say that, oh, this particular one, it is against the law and all those things. But you see, it is the same case, the same facts, same ratio. I have heard some of their lawyers and apologists saying that, oh, I mean, the matters are different. Dramani Sekendi matter.
Adamu
Sekendi. But Dramani is part of it.
Sure.
Yeah, his matter, he hid his Burkinabe passport and all that. He didn't even do anything to renounce whatever. But the matter before the court was that, did you lie or not? Did you lie at the time that you were filing at the Electoral Commission? You knew that you had not fully renounced your Canadian citizenship.
Is that why you and your assigns, including the president, were going around saying that?
No, please.
I still saying that.
No, see,
I still saying that the man is a candidate for jail.
No, I had this erroneous impression that was created by some media people that the president said something onto it. The president never said so. The president was saying that the candidate himself.
You mean that's your interpretation of what the president said?
I'm telling you what the president said.
But we heard what the president said.
I also heard it. So I also heard it. You heard it. I also heard it. I'm telling you what the president said.
Okay.
The president
give me
said
your version.
No, yeah. I will give you the version of the president so that you can do your distortion version. The president was saying that he had heard the candidate saying that, oh, even if they jail him, the good people of Asinov will still vote for him. And the president was then asking the question, you want to work from prison? Is that why we should vote for you? So the president was referring to what the candidate was saying. But you see, the media people cut where the president said that the candidate said that, and then they jumped to say that, oh, you want to work from prison and all those. So you
mean we took the reference to his opinion?
Exactly. So in the end, then I think that it is not true that this is discriminatory in terms of the trial, daily trial. It is not true. The law permits us. The court has the right. I mean, when you go to court, some people are given 2 weeks. They adjourn court day to 2 weeks. Some 3 days. Some daily. So you've
been talking for 50 minutes
now.
Do
you call that discriminatory? Because if you go to court,
you don't think it's discriminatory?
Similar cases. Right. It depends, depending on the availability of the judge and whether he wants to expeditiously, end the case based on certain parameters. The court can decide whatever. So if somebody says that, okay, if one court says, okay, I adjourn your case to 2 weeks, and another one say 1 week, another one say 2 days or the 1 day, that is not discriminatory.
Yeah.
So the speaker
should know better. This is what the president said. Then, of course, Saliasa is devoid of the reference to the question or the opinion of now MP-elect for Asinov.
Yeah, poor be on about the sumbo. No be on the Nasa about the Hamaji. Let him be a newspaper move. I say North MP say, I say North MP say. Yana here. Yeah, poor be about Yajuma. Now the fiancé of every drink about Yajuma. Maybe some who the fiancé about to be about Yajuma. And that man I will to be a prison. And then a woman I will to be a prison. So I call Uncle Dream Moa, I go for the home. Nasan Abamo, if you say NDC for a penny, sir. Miss Ramo, Mamma, yes, I'm from so new. More pet obia or bar or barber yet a juma. Yet your barbage now. China Appeal Court, or China Supreme Court, or China High Court. You have to be there.
And Edem Agbana, according to the official position of Sakasalia and government and the party, the president did not make an opinion on this, about whether the MP-elect is a candidate for jail.
Roland, let me say good morning to all our viewers, especially to the good people of Ketu North, and also use the opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Member of Parliament elect for the good people of Asin North, the Honorable James Quayson. Also to appreciate all comrades, all members of the NDC, all Ghanaians who came and supported us to annex the Asin North seat again. Roland, I can understand why my brother Saka Salia is struggling to defend the comments made by His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I think it's important to say that all of us are always interested in getting the judiciary to expedite action on cases that are brought before them. All of us want justice to be served in a timely manner. All of us want the judiciary to work in a way that every Ghanaian will have confidence in the outcome of their rulings. But it is important to state that whatever is happening with regards to this James Quayson court case and the attempt to have a daily trial just few days before the election is clearly as a result of the court's decision to frustrate the gentleman because he was in an election. And I'm happy that our lawyers fought it and they were able to get the decision reversed. Look, it is selective, as the speaker rightly mentioned yesterday. And I am worried as a Ghanaian that increasingly the judiciary under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has become an institution that Ghanaians do not trust. And this was confirmed by the Afro Barometer report led by the CDD in 2020, where 85%, Roland, and this is a serious national security issue. If you have a country where 85% of citizens said that they believe the courts are corrupt, that they believe the courts are untrustworthy, that they believe the courts are unfair, it is a serious national security issue.
Well, somebody say that's their perception.
It is a perception based or built on the actions of the judiciary. And so if, for example, I'm a Ghanaian who lost my money in, let's say, this whole men's gold business, until today, we can't even speak to what stage that case has reached. People committed suicide out of this case. And yet, that particular issue does not warrant a daily trial. But an MP who was legitimately elected, an MP who at the time of election got his certificate of renunciation, that matter is what is so important, that in the week of his election, the court decides to have a daily trial. And you sit here and defend this, and you expect Ghanaians to applaud you. These are the reasons why we believe that the judiciary is not serving the interests of the good people of Ghana. And Roland, I was in Asin last weekend, and when I heard the president's statement, I was shocked that for a man who prides himself as an advocate for rule of law, for a man who we are told is a lawyer, to make such statements, it is more or less, it constitutes an order to the courts that even when he is elected, jail him. And you see MPP people defend that recklessness of a statement because it comes from the president. Let's not reduce politics to this level. Look, it should be possible for me to be able to say that I believe President Mahama has said something that isn't right. It should be possible. So I expected my brother Saka Salia this morning to have condemned those reckless statements from the president. Because you can't be a lawyer and then a case that is before court, you stand on a major political platform and you make pronouncements that even when you vote for him or we peobia on serving move from prison. I mean, basically what he's trying to say is that even when James Quayson is elected, as it has been done, he's going to go to prison. And how do you make such reckless statements as president, as a lawyer? And that constitutes, look, the weight of the president's words constitutes an order to the courts. And it comes at a time where we have zero confidence in the judiciary. It comes at a time where most Ghanaians believe that the president populated the Supreme Court and the judiciary with people who are seen as partisan judges. It comes at a time where Ghanaians believe that almost every state institution that ought to be independent, including the Electoral Commission, has become a partisan tool for the president. And you make those statements and you want us to applaud that recklessness. And Roland, there are many other cases that ought to be time-bound before the Supreme Court. In case Saka and the MPP are not aware, let me remind them, are you aware that the illegitimate passing of the e-levy is still a matter before the court? This is a major issue that borders on people's economic rights. It is still a matter before the court. Why are we not getting a daily trial for that? Are you aware that, like I have mentioned already, the Nam1 case is still before the court? Are you aware? Are you aware that as we speak, a member of the Electoral Commission appointed Dr. Apia Hini, or so, if I got the name right, his issue is still before the court because here is a man who has served as a partisan agent, gone on radio, TV, defending the NPP, got appointed to the Independent Electoral Commission. That matter is very important. It's before the judiciary. Why are they not dealing with it? Recently, the Domelovo case. This is a matter that bordered on a man whose daily bread was taken away from him, was sacked from work. How long did it take the court to decide on it? At that time, the court didn't know that they could have daily trial to expedite the proceedings. And so what is so different about this whole James Quayson matter? Do you know the number of members of parliament who are before the court as we speak on various issues? And let me tell you, in case you are not aware, even your candidate in Asen North, Charles Opoku, he has a matter pending before the courts. I don't want to go into it, but I confirm. Charles Opoku had a matter, private. Related? It may not be elections related, so but no, but what the point I'm trying to make, the point that I'm bringing because the point I'm trying to make is that it is selective justice. And when the courts, when you have the courts selectively applying justice the way they are doing, it will make us lose more confidence in the judiciary. Look, one of the ways that the judiciary has tried to shut everyone up is this whole issue of contempt. That the judiciary assumes that they are such a sanctimonious body that nobody can criticize them. That the judiciary assumes that because when you go speaking about the judiciary in a certain way, you will be dragged before the judiciary or the courts for contempt of court, they get away with many things. But I don't think any state institution is above reproach. whether it is the parliament, whether it is the executive, whether it is the judiciary, we as a people must be bold enough to speak about the ills of these institutions. As I speak to you today, as confirmed by the Afrobarometer I mentioned, Ghanaians don't have confidence in the judiciary. And so I want to call on the new Chief Justice that if there is anything that must be of concern to her, she must, as a matter of urgency, take steps to cleanse the judiciary, take steps to build confidence of the people in the judiciary, because as we speak, most of us don't have confidence in the judiciary. After all, is it not in the same judiciary that people took goats, tubers of yam, and others to influence judgment? Is it not the same judiciary that judges were caught on tape? And I think that everyone must be worried, especially when we know that we have some very fine judges at the bar. We have some very fine and very truly independent people. But the actions of the judiciary in matters that are political, like this James Quayson matter, I think shows that they simply were out there to frustrate a gentleman and prevent him from winning the election. But like President Mahama said yesterday, there is no verdict greater than the verdict of the people. And I can tell you, I was in Assin North. Anytime there is any by-elections again, if President Akufo-Addo likes, no matter what they do, the people of Assin North will continue voting for James Quayson to be their MP. You don't run a country this way. And the president should be apologizing to the good people of Ghana for that reckless statement he made on Saturday. How do you make such prejudicial statements and get away with it? Imagine those statements came from any leader of the NDC. What would have been the case by now? But because it's President Akufo-Addo, like some judge said, over-pampered sports kid, everybody is afraid to speak. Why are the CSOs not talking about the recklessness of the president?
Roland, I mean,
I mean, this what? I kept quiet for you to finish your point.
The tape
but we all listen to the tape.
No, they started from the middle.
Started from which middle? The president said. The president was very emphatic.
No,
he was very.
The president
unless you are listening to something else.
No. But
Saka, I kept quiet when you were talking.
I have the tape. I will give it to you.
You have. So you have a different tape.
So we all listen.
Every Ghanaian.
We all listen to the president. It was a rally. He says that.
Please.
And someone says.
He mentioned the person's name.
Okay.
Yes.
He says that he's ready
to go to prison.
And any time he will return and be voted for. Exactly. And
so
then
based
he
on that,
continued to make references.
Then the president was then saying that. So you want to save the people from prison?
Yes.
So he was referring to what the president said.
After that, the president made comments.
Yes.
After what? Yeah, after
making the reference.
He made comment that
he made comments suggesting that he knows
based on what he said.
Your time, you do.
He want to save from prison.
I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. So you just keep quiet and allow me because you are eating into my time.
It's not.
So the president hasn't been reckless.
I'm saying that. So you keep quiet and allow me to speak.
It is not the first time we're talking about this matter. And many other meaningful people, including you, have talked about this matter. So please.
I don't get what you said. I don't get.
Saka.
No. Explain yourself.
Please stop.
Saka.
It's very much unlike you. Stop.
Saka, you need to keep quiet and allow me. So you just keep quiet.
All these interjections.
Every Ghanaian heard the tape. Every Ghanaian heard the tape. And the judgment, the verdict on the tape is that the president was reckless and made prejudicial statements.
Please conclude for me.
In conclusion, Roland, I want to plead with all the stakeholders, with the judiciary, with the Council of States, with everybody who ought to be the conscience of this nation, that the judiciary is a very, very important arm of government. That the judiciary and their conduct can determine whether or not we have peace in this country. Like the speaker said yesterday, that the judiciary plays a very key role in growing our democracy. And so when the judiciary seems to be behaving in a manner that erodes whatever confidence that anyone has in them, it is a cause for worry. It's a national security issue. That when the judiciary is not seen to be fair to all parties, but depending on which political party or which individual is before them and their actions, it hurts the image of this country. Everyone, especially the Chief Justice, must take note of this, that if we ought to build this country as we want to, if we want to build our democracy, they must, as a matter of urgency, do some self-introspection, do some reflection about the role of the judiciary and how truly independent they are. Because as we speak today, as I speak to you this morning, Roland, I have zero confidence in the judiciary. Because it is a judiciary that will send anyone who steals goats, imprison them to 20, 25 years, but will leave people who are stealing millions to go. It is a judiciary that is not fair to people based on their social status, based on which political party they belong to. That cannot be a judiciary that works in a growing democracy. So I want to plead with everyone, especially the Chief Justice, that do some self-introspection and decide that, look, the fact that you were appointed by the president does not mean that you must become an agent for the president. That when the president makes reckless statements like the one he made on Saturday about James Quayson, that should not influence the courts in deciding which way to go with regards to this particular case. But as we speak today, many of us, including myself, I have zero confidence in the judiciary.
Okay.